Hey, this is Adrienne with Holistic Made Easy and the Tennessee Wellness Festival. And I'm thrilled to have my friends, doctors Mark and Liz Pendergrass, with me this morning. Welcome, guys. I can see that you are hanging out on your homestead today in the bright, beautiful sunshine.
Getting in the rays.
Yeah, our last couple weekends it was raining, and so we're like, it's sunny, we're going outside.
I love it. That's where I'm headed after we wrap up here. Right now, I'm in the office in my setup, but I can't wait to get outside today. It's a beautiful day to be out. Well, thank
Yes.
you for taking a few minutes. I just wanted to chat with you guys for just a few minutes about all the different things you're doing. You own and run Rock Springs Family Chiropractic up in the Smyrna area. And that's been an amazing, thriving practice for you all for several years. I know you've got a great team there. You've helped so many people in their health and wellness. I love what you're doing to help people. But you've embarked on this homesteading journey. And you've got two littles and you're looking at going the homeschool route as well. So I would just love to hear what you guys are doing and why you're in this area with holistic health and all the different things that hit the marks for what we're passionate about as well.
Well,
Take it away.
let's start in order there, I guess. So, when you look at our practice, our focus is chiropractic, but chiropractic deals with removing interference to natural health. So, that can be physically, but that can also be chemically, emotionally, spiritually.
Right.
And so in our office, we teach like all five essentials from nutrition and detox to mindset and exercise, as well as just correcting the spine to allow the brain to communicate. So we've been in practice almost 11 years, and the push to homesteading
Mhm.
was really like we were teaching this five essential based lifestyle and fixing nutrition. And the truth is, I guess I lost trust in uh, grocery
The grocery
stores,
store.
government. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I just like there were lawsuits. I think it was either Kroger or Publix. The lawsuit was like their pastured chicken or something. It was just a big lie. It wasn't that at all. And I was like, golly, like you have to totally trust that they're putting a label on your food, right? So we were
Yeah.
like, let's just go live this thing truly. And so let's go take control of a little bit more of our life, our health. But it's been like, well, it's an insanely, I don't want to call it a difficult journey because the rewarding factor far outweighs the difficult factor
Sure.
of uprooting our life and moving out here, changing things. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that was kind of like the path, but you can add,
And I
add to
think
that.
part of it too was so we have a 2 and a 4-year-old now, and the youngest was just born, and it was like, we were watching just our daughter sit in front of the TV and live in a neighborhood. And we're like, I think we want to do something different, and we want to have a different life, and we want to, yes, work at the office, even though it's not really work. It's, we love what we do. So you don't work a day in your life if you love what you do. And, but at the same time, we would come home and it's like, okay, well, now what? And there's so much time in a day. And it was like, how can we have an even better life for our kids? And I think there's good work that happens by a homesteading journey, whether you have land or whether you have a half acre that you turn into a little homestead. It's like having that just connection to the land and your food supply and the animals that you raise. If you do that, it's just, we knew it would be way more rewarding than, all right, our groceries get delivered to our doorstep by Amazon.
Right, absolutely. And you've touched on something there. First of all, you say the difficult is outweighed by the reward, and I absolutely agree with that. Sometimes I say what's better may not be easier, but it's going to be better for what you want to do and the things that you want to achieve for your health and wellness. And so, you know, learning how to take care of animals, learning how to be mindful of the land that is under your care. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you guys have had to quickly learn and research and ask other people that have gone before you. And there's a beauty to that, getting reconnected to your food, to the land, and to the earth that God created for us to take care of. And that's something that I think a lot of people in the holistic community are starting to really link arms together on is finding a way, whether you're on half an acre or you have 100 acres, finding a way to um, be a reliable food source for yourself, to be self-sustaining in a lot of different ways. And if you're raising kids, getting them away from the screens and the electronics, and of course that can be fun for, here and there, but you don't want your kids locked in. You want them to understand where their food comes from, how to do things in a practical way so that they can be self-sustaining as well. And you get to have that family time that you don't get back. And so I applaud what you guys are doing because you are setting that precedent for a lot of folks. I know you probably have patients that come to see you that are watching your journey and they're so encouraged and inspired, and you don't know what that ripple effect is going to be with the community that you already steward. So that is amazing. Um, so I have you guys speaking on April 6th for a couple different speaker panels. One is homesteading for newbies. And the other,
Lots to share.
I love it. I love it. And then the other is real life homeschooling for busy families. Now, I know you have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, but you're already looking at doing those things. And so I think it's going to be a really refreshing perspective to have your family's experience. We've got a mama that has raised 4 kids, and 3 out of the 4 are young adult age now. So they're on the opposite end of the journey. And then we also have a mama that is a single mom, business owner, and she's decided to dive into that homeschooling world. And she's showing that there isn't a one size fits all, that you can carve out what you want for your family, regardless of your marital status, of what you do for work. We're breaking the mold in a lot of ways in Middle Tennessee, showing people, yes, you can absolutely carve out the life that you want. You just have to be intentional about it. So, very excited to hear you guys weigh in on both of those topics. Before we wrap, I do have a question, actually a couple questions. What has been the most challenging thing to learn about homesteading and taking care of animals? And then what has been the most rewarding thing about that?
You have one off the top of your head?
Um,
I have a thought. He might have a different thought, but
Love it. Go for it.
so we had both our babies at home.
Yep.
I am a very pro, whether it be midwife assisted. I had my children unassisted. I have a strong philosophy that the body is created to birth babies and live naturally without intervention. And so I have that philosophy and mindset, and I know that it works. It's been challenged in our own lives, in our patients' lives, but I know that it works.
Mhm.
And so I went into homesteading with that same philosophy. Cows have babies.
Yeah.
Things just nature does what nature does, and it will work. And I think the biggest challenge for me has been realizing that man has interfered with genetics so much, especially when it comes to cattle, because we had 4 cows that we put a deposit on. We got them. We were told, hey, these might not be the best breeds, but we had already made a deposit or had the cows. And we're like, no, we're going forward. And it turned out everyone had a birth problem. One calf died breech. The other, he was born in the middle of the snowpocalypse, so it makes sense that he didn't eat right away and had a little bit of a struggle. And then our most recent one that was born last week, the calf was too big for the mom, and it's just been kind of a nightmare. And it's challenged that, but I was like, no, nature still does know best. But because of how man has interfered with genetics over time, cows aren't what they're supposed to be. They're bred to grow really rapidly. And it's just, there's so many problems there that I'm realizing that we have interfered so much just from a human perspective. We really have destroyed a lot of what nature meant to be. And one of my farm coaches said, nature calls ruthlessly. And it really is true. So we've had hard lessons, but through that, we have opportunities. We have a bit can't see her right now, but a little bottle calf, the mom just isn't nursing. And so now we get to learn how to raise a calf in a new sense. But I think that was one of the most difficult things, was understanding that, while nature knows best, sometimes what nature knows is that man has really screwed up over the past several decades and is working to correct that. And it's a hard lesson. So.
For sure. Well, it's the whole idea of regenerative farming, getting back to the roots of things, because you're right. Man has interfered with so many things
There's
that
really not supposed to be mini cows.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the mini cows probably won't survive. We just make them survive because we bottle feed them and people pull them out. It's like, so yeah, it's a hard lesson thing to watch, but yet because there's good that comes from knowledge.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
find that is all so true. Well done. We'll wrap it up. No. My thought. Okay, so we still run a very large wellness practice,
Mhm.
which is like I guess our primary thing or whatever.
Yep.
And trying to homestead and keep animals and all the stuff when it is definitely our secondary, and possibly even a
Project.
tertiary business. It's like, wow. The most difficult thing has just been, man, how do I manage my time and energy to be able to give my human patients
Yeah.
the absolute best doctor mark they can have, but then
Yeah.
also come back and be able to give my kids, my wife, and animals
Now our
time
cow.
when necessary also. And
Yeah.
the hard part is like the cows need certain things in the morning,
Mhm.
um our chickens, it's so sad, like I'm just not good at death.
Yeah.
And our chickens, we were like, oh, they're gonna do great, 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 great. And then every time we take any kind of vacation anywhere for no matter how long, a hawk comes and takes one of our
Ugh,
chickens. And so we come back to this feathery hell.
right.
I'm like,
Tucked up
dude,
feathers everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. And like it was, the first one was my favorite chicken. Her name was Rosie. She was our only white
Yeah.
chicken.
R.I.P. Rosie.
And we came back from we went on a cruise and we had our neighbors helping out, and we were just like, we have to get a vacation also.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the most difficult part of all this has been the time management side of how do we um keep this life it's different lives. It's just like how do we run our practice and give these animals the respect and time that they also need,
Yeah.
because their life depends on us.
Right. Yeah.
And but the most rewarding part, my goodness, the dopamine hits you get with every single project. So I've learned, like, you don't have to have 3 hours to go homestead. You need to do it in 10-minute increments or 6-minute increments, or like, I don't have to plant 100 trees. I have to plant one tree 100 times,
Yeah.
and so we
Good.
have planted an entire orchard, 50 grapevines, probably about 90 to 100 different plants in the last 6 months that we've been
Awesome.
here. It's just been really, truly, it's like one at a time, go dig a hole, plant it, go dig a hole, plant it. Instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything, I can just, the amount that we have actually accomplished in the last 6 months, just
Yeah.
on the homesteading front, is when I look at it, right, like when I look at it in the here and now with laser beam stuff, it's like, gosh, there's so much to do. But when I look out and be like,
Yeah.
holy crap, we've accomplished an insane amount just by 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that is probably the most rewarding thing, is like, if I plant a tree, the dopamine hit I get is insane.
Yeah.
And then just like the next project, and it's like you do a project and it's actually finished.
Mhm.
Most of my life is like ongoing, never ending stuff. But here
Right.
it's like, once you plant it, it's like, boom, done.
Tree's done. It's it.
Yeah, once we get the fence put up, oh yes, awesome, next project,
Yeah.
And so that's been like the most rewarding thing, is watching this transform, I think.
That's awesome. That's a really good thing to remember too, for people that are considering homesteading or just getting started, is probably that sense of overwhelm of, oh my gosh, I have to do everything all at once. But when you really think about it, it's little segments of time here and there that add up, just like the intentionality in your health, like what you guys are teaching your patients. It's making those intentional little blips that all add up over the long term, instead of trying to dump it and do it all at once. So that's really, really good advice.
Most people are going to go become YouTube university watchers, and what's going to happen is they're going to watch this person that's been doing it for 20 years. It has everything like perfect and set up, and it took literally forever to learn and do all the stuff. And they're going to think, there's no way I can do that. And it's like, yeah, you can. You go get a bunch of mulch from
Yep.
some tree company, and you start spreading it out, and that's the beginning of it. It's like you just start doing. So
Just, it all adds up. It all stacks up. That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
guys, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. Love what y'all are doing. I'm very encouraged and inspired by your journey. And I know people are going to love hearing from you on April 6th. Make sure you grab your tickets. Make sure you meet Doctors Mark and Liz at their booth, and don't miss their speaker panels. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you in just a few days.
Excited.
Excited.
Awesome. See ya.
Thanks,
Take
Adrienne.
care.